Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, a Cardinal podcast that does have that hot dog in them. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined by my co-host, Dave Simone.
That might be my favorite one.
Well, if you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS, or, of course, check out our Patreon and consider joining the Birdscord where people are submitting. We did get a couple dog in them suggestions. That one was my own. I decided to go back to handwriting.
Wow.
I know. So I'm quite tickled that your favorite one so far came from me.
Feel like I got rope-a-doped there. That was, I don't know. Yeah, not
I know
sure how I feel about that.
We had a long run of only listener submitted opening bits, which I love. Please keep them going. But, you know, sometimes daddy's got to come out of retirement and throw one out there.
Who's daddy?
I don't know. I didn't like it when I said it either.
Just thought we should make sure we're on the same page of who daddy is.
Is there a daddy of the show? I don't think so. I think this is a fatherless sort of thing.
It would make more sense if that's that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I think we talked a little bit about this over the weekend. You and I just spent a weekend together to varying degrees of success. But what is your hot dog? Like you have the entire world in front of you. You have open access to anything. What is your hot dog of choice?
Well, I will say, you know, I had a Costco dog within the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it was hitting.
Yeah.
The thing with the Costco dog is I got to dress it myself. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So big part of getting it, whatever kind of dog you want, it must be prepared by someone else. That's a key piece of your key.
Well, I'm just saying my preferred dog is the Chicago style dog.
Okay.
With it's I had to Google it to make sure I got it right. Yellow mustard, chopped white onions, bright green sweet pickle relish, dill pickle spear, tomato slices or wedges, pickled sport peppers, and a dash of celery salt with ketchup, strictly forbidden. And typically, I feel like when you get it in Chicago, it's got those like the black poppy seeds on top or whatever that is. And the reason I say that is because like to make that hot dog, that's like 3 trips to the store. I got to do some knife cutting. I'm not doing that at home. But if I see a Chicago style dog on the menu, I very well might get it.
Getting the Chicago dog. I think my answer is the same. Though I will say no mustard, please, which I understand is, maybe a little bit of heresy here, but don't worry, no ketchup. I don't like ketchup anyway, so I'm not putting that on the dog. But everything else is exactly right. At home, I've been a big fan of the pickle spear and barbecue sauce. That's a great dog with some onions on it if I got them.
The barbecue sauce thing is
I don't always want to do
psychopath
I don't want to do knife cutting like you said. A normal way to say using a knife. You think barbecue sauce is crazy on a hot dog?
Yeah, I do actually. I think that it's something like if somebody that I knew were to put barbecue sauce on their hot dog, I feel like that they should be on a list.
What list? Let's keep this going.
A list.
Wow.
Dumbass bitch list.
Damn. Fuck.
Got him.
All right, fine. Well, then I guess put me on the dumbass bitch list.
But I also like the government should track you also. To what end, I haven't decided, but I do think
already happening.
Yeah. And I believe in the GOP.
My daughter Googled me the other day. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh no, they're getting, it's happening.
Was she like confused that there was nothing to find and thought you were dead for a moment?
There's actually more because of this dumb shit. We're all over like it. And
Yeah.
there's no other, it's not neither of us have common last names.
That's true.
So we're all over it. It's my legacy.
True.
So we just spent a weekend fishing.
Can you tell how good our chemistry is right now?
We're locked in.
It's like
I
ping
just
pong.
spent 2 days in a boat with Hambone here. He, of course, was only present for about a day and a half of that.
Slander.
But it's true.
I was there.
And yes, you were. Your physical presence was there.
Yeah.
But you were asleep on the front of the boat, just face down into the carpet of our shitty little boat.
What's up?
We were at one point, Ben is face down, flopped on the front of the boat. Me and friend of the show, Chris, we're at full speed, cutting through the water. We're stupid because our boat was splashing water everywhere,
and I felt like off.
I felt like I was some sort of eco-friendly, like Coast Guard guy, rushing a beached walrus to a local hospital as I had you flopped over the front of the boat.
I believe that you would treat a walrus better than you would treat me.
I would actually. I mean, I would expect that of anyone. I'd expect you to treat a walrus better than me.
Really?
I mean, low bar.
Okay. I think you should live in an aquatic center and let me throw a fish at you.
It's a classic bit too. Putting 2 straws in your mouth and being a walrus.
Pinnacle of comedy.
Yeah, there's nothing better. But we as is now our tradition. I don't know how many years you and I have been doing the tournament. It has been going
100 years.
Yeah, probably around 100 years. If you were wondering if we would be successful, you were well,
what
we
is
weren't.
success?
Yeah. Define success really in a fishing tournament. Is it catching fish and placing well in a tournament? Or is it, having a good day out in the sun with your buds? Wow.
Hard to say.
Yeah. I caught a fish.
In like the last 30 minutes.
The last 30 minutes. And we were doing trolling, which is a very unsatisfying type of fishing. And so I didn't even really know for sure I had a fish until the very last moment.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like, I got one. Like, it was like, oh shit, I do have one. Which unsatisfying. Ben fished for maybe an hour total out of the whole weekend, and of course did better than me and Chris, placing 2 fish into the tournament.
Yep.
Ben submitted 2. Big win this year though, Hambone. Both of them the correct type of fish for the tournament, and Chris submitted 1 and I submitted 0.
That first fish I caught was the 4th biggest fish of the whole tournament. That's
yeah,
not nothing.
He almost placed. He fished for 30 minutes on the first day.
Yeah.
Caught 1 big fish, punched out after that, and then almost placed in the tournament.
A truly great player knows when to hang up the cleats.
Yeah. I think we would definitely define your performance this weekend as truly great.
Thank you. I agree.
But it was good. It was a beautiful weekend. Couple of bluebird days, just really nice outside.
Oh boy, was it ever.
So thank you I assume most of our listeners were out there just thinking about us all weekend, wondering how we were doing in the tournament. And it was bad.
No one fell in the water.
Always a surprise and something that we've done. It's never happened.
No.
None of us have fallen in.
Not yet.
I think we're seated. We're a very seated group though,
I mean, I'm barely moving when I'm on that boat.
You were full contact with the boat at all times.
It's a safety measure.
All right. Well, we'll do it again next year, I'm sure. And next year will be the year, I think. Don't you feel confident about
Well,
next
again,
year?
I think when we're defining things is when I get confused. Like the year of what? The year of I don't want to put labels on it because then I feel like I'm in a box.
Yeah, nobody puts Benny in a box.
You can't.
It's got to be a pretty big box. Well, you'll be back in a few weeks for Blogger Day. We'll see if maybe that'll be a little more successful, which I don't think we've actually talked about on this show yet. May 30th, us and a bunch of other people in the community. I think this will be our 3rd year doing it.
Yep.
We will be going to this year. They're doing it on a Saturday night Cubs Cardinal game. So Heim's, really shelling out the big bucks for the blogger and podcaster community. The last few have been day games. So like a Saturday night game against the Cubs, that'll be fun. And there was a little bit of uncertainty for a while, although everyone is quite confident that he would, but there was still uncertainty if Heim would participate and actually come in and like sit with just the grossest group of interviewers that he possibly could surround himself with.
Freaks and geeks.
Yeah. But he is, which is great. I think we all kind of anticipated it. It's a fun event, but you could also see him being like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, but it would be an historic L taken by the Pobo, if you ask me.
Yeah. So we're gonna grill him. I think we're gonna grill him. I think that's the plan.
Well, last year everybody was too busy kissing the shoes that Mozeliak was walking on. For I feel like we were a little too nice to Mo on his way out.
Well,
not that he doesn't get gruff from real reporters and stuff like that on from time to time, but I'm sharpening my pitchfork for this Bloom conversation.
Because we got a lot to be angry about right now as Cardinal fans.
Yeah, the team is overperforming. You son of a bitch.
It's been a fun start to the season. What the hell, Heim? We'll talk more about this as it gets a little closer. But to that point, though, last year also, if you remember, the Cardinals at the end of May were 8 games over 500 too. So I think everyone was feeling pretty good. You and I were saying the team is fun, the team is good, all that. Mozeliak's maybe walking out on a little bit of a high note. So everyone was ready to just throw legacy questions at him, which is fine. It's whatever. We're not going to get anything that we haven't already heard probably in 3 different interviews in that room.
That's a really great way to look at this opportunity.
I am excited. It'll be cool to get to talk to him. All right. So let's talk about the Cardinals though. Another good week of baseball, Hambone. The Cardinals finished their sweep of the Pirates, 4-game sweep of the Pirates.
Yeah.
They take a series against the Dodgers, which nobody saw coming. And then they won the first game of the Brewers series. Of course, last night was rained out, and then today did not go very well. Well, this is a tab after dark, so we do know the results of the Wednesday game. But hard to be upset at all about any of the results from this last week of baseball. What do you want to talk about first?
I think, and hopefully we have to do this a ton more times throughout this year, but I think we have to start the show off by talking about Jaywalk with another huge week. 2 homers, which is great. 10 hits, which is great. And, we're starting to get to the point where we've played 35 plus baseball games right now. And he is 9th in MLB and WRC plus right now. And if you're not familiar with WRC plus, basically just saying he's the 9th best hitter across both the National League and American League by a couple of different metrics. So seeing him, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when he got cold. We just need to see him dig himself out and see what that looks like. He was able to get scorching hot again to carry the team offensively again, get some walks. He's still striking out a little too much for my taste, but more homers, more hits. It's looking good, Nate. He's looking like a real baseball player. We are beyond the 60 plate appearance. Like I think we talked about that at the beginning of the season. Any baseball player can do anything for 60 plate appearances. We're almost at 150 right now. And again, he has that 168 WRC plus for 9th in baseball. Didn't have that on my 2026 bingo card, Nathan.
I did. Bingo.
If you did, you'd be a bingo winner, I would imagine.
It's crazy. I mean, we are rocketing towards the small sample size caveat no longer being the case. Like you said, 146 plate appearances. And I think what we just saw after the last 3 weeks or so, it was really, to me, the nail in the coffin of the concern that this was a fluky 10 games. You know, he came out of the gates, hit like 8 home runs in 11 games, and then immediately, or then right after that, started striking out a ton again. Didn't necessarily look lost, but the results weren't there, and you could just see, like, you know, in the infinite amount of universes and outcomes, there's a lot where that is the way it goes. And Jordan Walker regresses to his previous approach, and it was a really fun couple weeks. But at the end of the day, he is what he has been for the last 3 years. But instead, we saw him maintain his focus, maintain an elevated approach, and basically work through it. You know, he started making a little bit better contact, started hitting the ball harder again, started hitting it up, and then the results started to follow. So uh, I've been impressed, you know, and I think that will, will he carry a 168? I don't know. I wouldn't be betting on that for the rest of the season. Um, but I've got no reason to think that this isn't real. And he is certainly seems to be one of the better hitters in baseball now, if not top 10, which is just,
Yeah.
I mean, I like, let's zoom out a little bit. Like, when has this happened as a Cardinal fan ever? I just, like, outside of our true, like, Pujols level stuff, like, it feels like the last 15 years has been prospect disappointment after prospect disappointment. And so I understand that I'm probably getting ahead of myself, and that this may still all fall apart as pitchers get better and better at dealing with him. But right now, I'm like, man, it feels good to finally have, like, oh, we have a top prospect who is succeeding. You know, I know it took 3 years, but whatever, you know, if it's this, if he's anything like this, then it was worth the wait. And I hope that they extend him, because he's already got like 2.5 years of service time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what really, is a huge difference maker for him compared to damn near any prospect the Cardinals have had in the past 10, 15 years is the power potential. Is
Yeah.
a true 80 grade, hits the ball as hard as anyone else in the league, power potential. And the fact that he's able to get to it, the fact that he has already been getting to it, that's how and you know this, but just to say it out loud, that's how you get to be a top 10 hitter in baseball. Is you can give me a little bit of average, but it's really about that slugging and those extra bases, which is what we think he can do as long as he keeps himself together. I'm kind of at the point now, he gathered a couple of walks today. We've got 35 games of Jordan Walker doing this. It's the longest and the best he's ever done this. Our team's going to start avoiding him. Are those walks going to go up? And is he going to be able to take increased walks? Because, it is the power. It's not like when you kind of give in to pretty much any other player on the team where they rope a double down the line. He can take anybody out to any side of field at any time. Like, we'll see how the league adjusts if they do, or when they do, I guess.
Well, he had a couple walks today.
I just said that.
And I'm staring at numbers, trying to, to support your argument here. So I want to say that he had 2 walks today. He has a 9.6%. That was what I was looking for. He's a 9.6% walk rate, which is 2 points higher than what he had done last year, and like 5 points higher than 2024. So I think we're all. I mean, I think you did that breakdown last week or the week before about how he's been taking those sliders down and away better than he's ever done by a significant margin, which is already leading to higher walks. And I think absolutely, I think you can already see that teams are starting to pitch him a little more carefully. The good news is that, at least in front of him right now, there's been some real production as well, which is making it, hopefully will make it harder for them to pitch around him as more people are on base in front of him. Behind him in the lineup, we're still working on that, but
Nolan Gorman is technically having a better year than I thought he was going to have.
It's not on the outline.
He's going off the outline,
today.
people.
I mean, people may not realize this, and it's important. Every once in a while, we'll let people peek behind the curtain. This show is deeply scripted. Almost everything I've said today was written and been signed off on it. All that whole bit about,
and that starts at like 9 a.m. We clock in.
We clock in, and we lock in. That whole thing about
good.
being the
glad
dumbest
we wrote
bitch.
That one too.
Yeah, I'm actually right now. I'm just reading off of a script. Anyway, Nolan Gorman is, if you go look at StatCast, that rolling expected wOBA, it's been climbing. He's increased his expected wOBA by like 90 points in the last 50 plate appearances or so. It's still below league average, but it's climbing. It's moving in the right direction. So, I think that's just something to keep an eye on. I certainly have felt his at-bats have been a little bit better. And when you start to look in the numbers, there is some evidence that he also might be coming out of it. But he doesn't have some of the tools that Walker has, who, by the way, has 7 stolen bases also?
She's just going to say Nolan Gorman is it's rare that I think I might be quicker than an MLB player.
Yeah.
He is so slow.
Yeah, he is. So Walker, is he leading the team in stolen bases also? Because Scott, I think, has 6. JJ has 4 or 5.
Let me Google that for you, big dog.
Thanks, guy.
Yeah. It looks like Jaywalk is in the lead with 6, and Victor Scott has 5 as of today.
Yeah, crazy. It's fun.
We're having fun. Speaking of having fun, the guy that hits right in front of Jordan Walker has also been having a lot of fun. Alec Burleson just won NL Player of the Week. He's dinking and doinking. He had a little bit of a cold streak there and has pulled himself out of it really nicely. And he's doing that thing where he's just hitting the shit out of the ball in every direction, spraying it all over the field. And, watching those two guys kind of bang at the same time, it is funny. I feel like we haven't, even though we had 2 Hall of Famers on the team for the past however many years with Arenado and I guess that first year, or
2022
that MVP year. Yeah.
Yeah. The 2022
just has felt like
legit.
a while.
Yeah.
But seeing that, being able to watch that for a week, and even with the pitching hasn't been all that great. It doesn't really matter if you have 2 guys that are doing things, better than 90% of the league, at least at any given time.
Well, we talked about it at the end of last week's episode, is that, a team that has a legitimate offense, has legitimate defense, and has a good bullpen can be a very, very successful team. Most people will say winning starts with good starting pitching, and I think that is still the ideal way to build your team. And we know the Cardinals are working on that. It doesn't certainly seem like this year will be the year that we have very good starting pitching, but I have hopes for it down the line. But all the other stuff, offense, defense, and bullpen, are looking very good. And in, an NL that is pretty wide open right now, except for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And the Braves. I think the Braves have done a good job of establishing themselves. It feels like there's a wide open path here for like a slight, another team's going to get into the playoffs with 84 wins or whatever, and if the goal is just to make the playoffs, you can start to see what a 2026 Cardinal team would look like that gets there. Now, I'm not there yet. It's only May 6th, and again, 2025, we were 8 games above 500 at the end of May. But for what it's worth, I think last year it kind of felt like the wheels were going to fall off that at any time, even when they were winning. This year, this version of winning feels more sustainable to me than the version of winning we had last year.
Yeah, I think I agree with that because the offense is
Right.
humming, but like
Yeah.
it would not surprise me in the slightest if JJ and Walker just go ice cold for a
Right.
month and a half, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I get what you're saying, and I think it leads to the next thing I wanted to talk about is again, we're 35 games in. The Cardinals have 35 games, and they have the seventh best overall offense in baseball if you go by xWOBA or WRC plus right now. And I find that shocking. I know that we've been talking about obviously some good offensive performances. They are smushed in between the Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. And I think that coming into 2026, you would have said that those are two better, or probably better offenses
Yeah.
than what St. Louis is rolling out. And the only teams above them outside of that, it goes Houston, Detroit, Atlanta, LA, New York. And the rest of the
Pretty
league is
good
below
teams.
them. All
Yeah.
good teams, all good offenses at the very least. Now there's a pretty significant differences between the Yankees and the Dodgers offense and the Cardinals, but that's
Sure.
true for pretty much the rest of the league too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty shocking. And again, like it's only a month or it's a little over a month, but I think we can finally start having these conversations of we are doing things like it's this offense might actually be good.
Yeah, and it'll continue to evolve, and there's some real opportunity here of there's several guys have nowhere to go but up still, so if Walker and JJ start to cool off, which would be very, very normal and frankly expected to some degree. But Herrera's results start to increase. I mean, he's been hitting the ball really well, but the results haven't fully been there, though they've started to lift over the last couple weeks. Or Victor Scott starts to put it together, or maybe Jimmy Crooks is called up and provides more offense from the catcher position, or Josh Baez comes up, or there's a lot of different paths here where you just get a little bit more from some of these other guys, and the team can be more complete because it really feels like a top half offense right now,
Yeah.
but I don't know, maybe Gorman does keep elevating and improving. Seems
I
really
will.
unlikely to me from just a gambling perspective of like, there's no way both Walker and Gorman are going to end up being good this year. It always felt like at least one of them. And we've kind of already got like our monkey's paw, like Walker's good,
Yeah, but I get why you feel that way, but just to be clear, that's not how
that's not,
things work. Yeah.
ah,
Um I will
thank you for
say,
being clear.
yeah, I will say that you look at the top of the lineup, Wetherholt, Herrera, Burley, and Walker, and that's probably the 1, 2, 3, 4 for next year, and hopefully for a
Yeah.
while. Like, I don't really see that going anywhere. Maybe the guys they change up where they're playing on the field or something like that, but um, you can. I feel pretty good about that for the foreseeable future. You
Yeah.
know, with the huge caveat that we are at the 35 game mark with Jordan Walker, and so far so good. All that being said, I guess any player could lose at any moment, but let's enjoy the ride. And those are some pretty sturdy pillars that you're building that
Wow.
Cardinals offense on. I mean, Jordan, that
Wow.
that one pillar is
They
the
can
house
carry
is
us
going to be
all.
crooked. Yeah, it's not how you build a house, I guess.
I don't know anything about building houses.
I live in a house.
Hey, brag.
I know some people that live in houses.
Yeah.
I've been in
Okay.
houses.
I'm familiar with the concept at the very least.
Yes,
Wow.
bunch of walls,
Yeah.
roof,
Let's keep this going. Rug?
doors,
Did you say rug?
roof.
Oh, rough. Walls, rug,
You don't need a
chair.
rug for a house. I think you need a door for a house, though.
Probably.
All right.
Many are saying.
Many are saying so. Cardinals offense has been good, and if you're waiting for the shoe to drop, I think the shoe's dropping already. We're already in shoe drop mode. The Cardinals have a team pitching Fangraphs WAR. This is a cumulative number, so all of the folks that have pitched for your St. Louis Cardinals in this young season. Nate, I'm guessing you're looking at the outline right now, or do you want to take a guess?
I know what it is. I was looking at it. So
0.5.
0.5. And part of me is like, where's that even coming from?
Yeah.
Who's
Well,
driving us into the positive side?
I have the totals in front of me right now. Let's just play a quick little game. Who do you think is leading your St. Louis Cardinals pitching staff in fWAR?
So maybe O'Brien, because he's had the most success, although he did finally give up a run. But
He has an ERA now.
Yeah. But obviously some starters are getting into 30, 40 innings, and he's probably at 12 or 13. So seems unlikely. You look like you want to correct me.
Are you going to make it? Is this your guess, or are you just noodling around?
Dustin May.
Wow. You are a failure, but you were pretty close.
Okay.
Dustin May is number 2
of
fWAR with 0.6. He's got 36 and 2/3 innings pitched.
Pretty good.
And 0.6 fWAR. You were right, Nathan. Riley O'Brien
really
has 17 innings pitched, and he has a 0.8 fWAR right now. So he is
pretty dominant 18 innings.
He is right. He is his 17 innings have completely wiped out their performances by Swanson and Romero on this young season. And if you're surprised to hear Romero on that, it might be worth noting that he has a xERA, an expected ERA, and a FIP of over 5. So the systems are really not liking what Romero has done in a short, 17 innings so far. But yeah, anyways, Riley O'Brien is leading the pack. It goes Dustin May, McGreevy, Palante, Fernandez, Stanek, and Soriano. Those are the top 7.
Yeah, it's pretty rough when so the math you said was O'Brien was what, 0.7?
0.8.
0.8. May is 0.6. So that's 1.4.
Yeah.
And then you've also told us that the team total is 0.5.
Yes. So I gave you all the guys that have a positive fWAR, even if it's 0.1. Our negative guys, it's Kyle Leahy, Roycroft, Liberatore, Brule, Swanson, and Romero, as I mentioned. So still early, and, Roycroft, he can bounce back maybe someday. Yeah. I'm not going to put any money on that, but it's very, very early, especially for pitching WAR.
Yeah, totally. A starting pitcher can add a half a WAR in one really, really good game. Yeah. Yeah. But that sounds about right. So WAR wins above replacement. The entire pitching staff has been worth half one win above replacement.
So you have a replacement level pitching staff, but like you were saying, if you have a solid offense and a solid defense and good base running, and you're not making mistakes to shoot yourself in the foot, like, you could see how that team is slightly over 500. Now, it's not going to get any better than that unless something on the pitching turns around. I also think, we're watching these games. The Cardinals are doing that thing again where they're not striking anybody out, and one way or another, that's going to come up and bite them. And we're going to get some really gnarly looking ERAs here, probably sooner than later. But so they've done a weirdly good, especially the starters, have done a weirdly good job of keeping McGreevy, especially, by the way, but keeping that ERA low while really not striking anybody out.
I think it's a blend of just good old fashioned small sample size and very, very good defense.
Very, very good defense. I feel like that is the calling card of the team, actually. And we're going to talk about Walker and JJ because that's really exciting. But I imagine the scouting report on the Cardinals right now is stout defense.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a pitching staff that puts the ball in play, and then you've got a very good defense behind them that are doing a pretty good job of handling that. So the recipe makes sense. Now, it would be more ideal that they actually just don't put the ball in play as much. And when they do, you just still also have that great defense, because eventually these hits find holes. We've seen that. We've had a couple games this year, even the very opening day where they just got you get dinked and dunked, and that people just put the ball in play 7 times in an inning, and every single one of them fucking finds the perfect little hole, and the game is done. Or not in opening day's case, but several times this year, it's just like, well, that was a shitty inning, and that's what you get for that.
I don't ever want to root for the Cardinal for bad things to happen to the Cardinals or even individual Cardinals. But I am kind of at the point where I'm ready for specifically Palante and Leahy to get blown up to stop being
like with a bomb.
Sorry. On the baseball field, in between the lines.
Okay.
Giving up some meatballs.
I was getting
not real meatballs,
there.
Nate.
Stop with all these euphemisms.
I'm sorry. I would like for Leahy and Palante to give up several runs that are more in line with what their underlying numbers are saying, so that we can start having the conversation of a little starting pitcher merry-go-round, and maybe that's getting Hunter Dobbins some more starts, or maybe somebody else. But what a great segue I just did. Let's talk about that Hunter Dobbins start really quick, Nate.
So yeah, because I was gonna say, to what end though? Because I really doubt Heim, the Bloomin' Goons, are not seeing and understanding exactly what we're seeing.
I might be thinking Mosaic brain. I might be too Mosaic brained with that. Where it was just hope and pray and not actually look at what's happening.
I think they just don't have, like, we saw Dobbins first start, which we'll talk about in a second. And I imagine he will be back up shortly. But outside of that, like, no, Doyle's not running away with it. Not like he was even projected to be up this early. Matthews isn't crushing it yet. Like, you could maybe stretch out Graceffo, things like that. You could get more creative in that regard. But it's not like there's a guy knocking down the door. And I think they're likely doing what they've said they're going to do, which is stick to the long-term plan. And I think that Palante and Leahy are basically just pitching. Like, they have opportunity. If they turn it around and are good, they will get to stay. But I imagine both of them are first on the block when a reasonable option surfaces.
Yeah, and I am probably, this is probably to a fault, and I'm fine with that. But I kind of think about it as like major league innings and major league opportunities are like a super finite resource. And I absolutely see the value of keeping guys down if you think there's more development that needs to happen. But I do I wonder what Bryson Mouts looks like in the big leagues. I did my whole thing about Bruce Zimmerman, just getting looks at other guys who are older, who you may or may not think are cooked. And like, I think that a major league start in a year like this can be a developmental opportunity rather than looked at as like it being a step back. I think that if you organizationally design it that way, then that's what it will be. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm fine to be wrong on that, but that is kind of where I'm at. Also, maybe I need exercise and patience. I can hear all of that. Well, I go back to it's a finite resource. You only have so many starts. And I think we've seen enough of Palante, at least him, to move on.
That's what I was going to say is I think Leahy, while his results have been rough too, I think there's a more easy argument to be made that they've gone through this exercise of stretching him out. Some people have opinions that the slider will work and that he needs to figure it out, but he has the stuff to be a major league starter, and it's only been 1 month. And if you pull the plug on it now, what was the point of any of this? Like, he needs more time. I think that is a super reasonable argument, and I'm fine to continue to watch Leahy at least for a while. Palante, I think, is the different argument where we have 200 innings of him being, mid at best. But again, who do you replace him with? Especially right now with a 17-game streak. Like, there's just, if there's not someone who's ready for a development start at the big leagues, which I agree with you is totally a thing that teams do, especially in a rebuild year. But if there's not someone who's like right there, then we just keep letting these guys go and kind of hope maybe Palante throws a couple good games in that time, which he's had a couple good games this year too.
No, I think that's right. Like, and really you need I think it's more what you said in the beginning is somebody needs to perform at AAA to make the conversation a little more worth having. And really the only person who's done that is Bruce Zimmerman, who has been a Cardinal for all of 35 seconds.
Yeah.
So
and or Dobbins or Fitz, you
right.
know,
who have pitched in the bigs before.
Yeah, and our Fitz is out for the season, and Dobbins just made his first start back, which had some things to be positive about and some things that it really looked like a guy coming back from injury. Do you want to run through the stat line?
Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch this game or?
I wasn't able to watch the whole thing, but I did watch some of it. And I went back and watched the highlights of him pitching.
Yeah. So he was able to go 4 1/3. He kept it to only 3 earned runs, 4 Ks. I think the headline though was the 5 walks. And I'll tell you, watching this game live, from a stuff standpoint, I was impressed. The fastball played better than I expected it to. I kind of chalked up the wildness to first start with the Cardinals, first start in the big leagues this season. A lot of things changing. Like you said, he's coming back from injury. There's just a lot of factors. I'm not going to really look into it too much. So really just going off the stuff, I thought that the sinker, slider, and curveball all looked really good. They all rated out really well on the Stuff Plus and all the advanced metrics and everything like that. And you're talking about a young guy that was hitting, 97, 98 with 3 borderline plus pitches that are above average in his first major league start with his new organization. And I'm not saying like, here's our new ace incumbent, but I think that there's a lot of clay here that we can mold into a pretty decent starting pitcher. What his ceiling is, I don't know, but the slider's real, curveball's real. Keep chucking those things.
It's just nice to see a new pitcher. Also, I mean, I know we have Dustin May, who's been good. He's getting seemingly better and better,
Dustin
which is
May's
great.
Unk, though. We already know.
Yeah. And he's on we have him for 5 more months unless something happens, so it's just nice to see somebody new with interesting stuff. And he was optioned, but I think that's just playing the game. I suspect, barring an injury, he will have, and maybe it's even already been announced, and I just haven't seen it, but I think he's going to have another start here soon. And while especially they did end up getting a free day off because of the rain delay, but 17 games in a row, wouldn't surprise me if he comes up for another one of these starts, even if it's a shortened thing, just to get him back. And then if he does really well when we get more into the consistent schedule with 5-man rotation, off days as you would expect, maybe he does take Palante's spot, and everything we just talked about is solved in the next 3 weeks anyway.
We'll see. We will, I think, follow his upcoming starts in AAA pretty closely. But yeah, I think what you said is really what it comes down to. We got to look at another start Cardinals pitcher. I don't care if he's good or bad or what. He's a new Cardinals starting pitcher.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Well, it's just nice. I think I talked about it last week or the week before. Like, the entire offseason was about improving the pitching, and we've not seen any of that at the major league level yet, which makes sense, understanding the scope and the process at which they went through. They targeted a wide range of pitching options, but a lot of them were in the lower to middle minors, so we didn't anticipate seeing a lot of them this year. So it's not like this was unexpected. But I'd still, just from like a fan standpoint, spending the whole offseason acquiring like 9 pitchers and then going into the season, and it's just Kyle Leahy, Michael McGreevy, Liberator, all the same guys that we had last year. It's like, all right, well, it's nice to see Dobbins. I wish Fitz was here, but it is what it is.
It is funny. If you look outside of the bullpen, if you're looking up and down the lineup and in the rotation, everybody except for Urías, who, by the way, just went down. We'll talk about that in a second. And May, it's the exact same
team. It's the same team.
But it feels so different. And it seems like the clubhouse thinks that. Obviously, I think the fans, you and I are feeling it. But it is.
Well, yeah, it's
Really the same team.
I mean, yes and no, because the core of the team was arguably like Willson Contreras, Nolan Arenado, Brendan Donovan, and they're all gone, you know. So your 3, 4, 5, or your 2, 3, 5 hitters or whatever from last year are all gone. But yeah, we did the dog in them bit at the beginning, but talked about hot dogs instead of the whole dog in them thing. What so we were watching the game together on Friday night when that whole thing was kind of revealed. And you know, not a hot take here, but it is nice to see them having fun. It makes it more fun as a fan base. You certainly like to think it helps in the clubhouse. Certainly there have been good teams that all hated each other and things like that. It's not a requirement to be good that everyone likes each other, but it's more fun. It's more fun as a fan base. It's more fun for them, I think, you know, and so it's nice to see. And when they're winning, you're like, all right, the team is gelling. This is a fun young team. They're the youngest team in the league. They're doing little bits. They're all barking like dogs. Jordan Walker is doing money, pay me signs when he hits a home run.
Good. I like that.
I like it too. It's nice after the last, I mean, even the 2022 Cardinals who had an MVP, a runner-up MVP, it's been stale, you know, and I loved that team. They were a great team and they, you know, did really well with Pujols and all that, but it was still just so serious. It was like my complaint with the Team USA stuff earlier, just like, does anybody actually want to be here, you know? So it's fun.
Yeah, that Team USA team had bad vibes. I think it's time that we have the conversation. It's true that Nolan Arenado ruined the Cardinals for the past 2 years.
Well, you know, I said this before. I said it last year too. Everyone was so precious about preserving the team chemistry. Oh, we can't trade some of these guys. It's the culture. We need this culture. I don't know. It seems like this is certainly a very good culture. Maybe the most fun version of the team we've had in quite a while. And so I think that, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm right, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
But we like dog barking, don't we, folks? We love a big necklace. We love a big, cheap Amazon necklace or whatever they got it from.
I do like that Jose Fermin just bought it off Amazon and now this is the thing. It has a little less majesty than the golden trident that the Mariners have, but I actually think that makes it better.
Yeah, I saw a national writer, I forget who, but basically called the Cardinals like the scrappy Cardinals, the scrappy upstart St. Louis Cardinals, you know.
I've seen it from many national. I just watched on one of the John Boy podcasts. They were talking about the guy that's not John Boy, whatever that other guy. He was talking about how he's watching a ton of Cardinals games this year because they're young and fun, and you know we've been watching some great baseball. It's we're not the only ones noticing. It's cool.
And have you seen the stuff going on? I mean, everyone's laughing about the Red Sox, but have you seen the Willson Contreras stuff with the Red Sox?
No, I don't think so.
So I'll paraphrase here, and I may get some of the smaller details wrong, but he basically said some things about the part of the problem with the team is inconsistency from some of the younger players. And I actually think, I think his point is fine. And it probably would come off more as like elder statesman if the team was doing okay. But instead, everyone's mad at old man getting mad at young kids on team sort of thing.
I am sure that it is frustrating you're like, Roman Anthony's about to be the next great player, Marcelo Mayer, you know, Caleb Durbin, and they're all sucking. And you're hearing how good they are. I get how that would be annoying.
Yeah.
But it's also like the whole thing with young players is that they're not consistent yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of took it as like Wilson's probably right. I think knowing him being on the Cardinals, it is a well-intended statement too. He's not actually trying to like blast anybody. But also probably something that you don't need to say. Yeah. So
We watched him for 3 years or whatever, and I feel pretty confident in saying that everything that comes out of Willson Contreras' mouth is not always a fully formed
yeah.
thought. He lets it fly.
Well, their whole team got the entire team. He got traded there. He signed or he agreed to waive his no trade clause to go to a team to try to win a World Series. Everyone said it was a smart move by him. He's there, and within 1 month, the entire staff is fired. Sonny Gray's on the IL, though he's back now.
Yeah.
And Wilson's having a great start to the year. He's doing very well. And it's like everything around him is crumbling. So I can imagine him being frustrated too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. It's funny. The Red Sox, with this god awful start that they have had, according to Fangraphs projection systems, they have a 33.9% chance of making the playoffs this season. The Cardinals, with the good way they've started this season, now have almost a 25% chance of making the playoffs. So
yeah, so we're still behind the Red Sox.
That being said, I bet you he's looking at the vibes that are happening over here, and he's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, why'd I leave it? It would be fun to be over there.
Yep.
But anyway, so the Cardinals have had a few transactions over the week. One very interesting one, which I will say is the Cardinals optioned Sajasi, and they've recalled Cesar Prieto from AAA. What's your take on this?
Yeah, and just to put a button on it, after Ramón Urías went down, Sajasi got called back up. So Sajasi, I don't even know if he was actually down for.
I think it was the same day.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyways, that happened. Prieto. I am infinitely curious about Cesar Prieto. He can play all over the infield. I was curious. I took a look. He has not had any starts in the outfield, at least that I can find online. So he is an infielder. I think he's probably a little bit better of a shortstop than a lot of other guys on our bench. Not a shortstop naturally. But the thing about this kid, it's always been a hit tool over everything. I think he could probably hit. He's a left-hander, which doesn't necessarily help out the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I think that we've seen, JJ and Mason should probably get a day or two off every once in a while. With Urías down, you don't mind having Cesar Prieto start at third base. And he hits the ball. He's a high contact, relatively low power kind of guy. He's had a really nice, powerful start to the season. I don't think that Cardinals fans should really buy into that until they see it in the big leagues. But I think that there's no question that he is a good hitter. I think he's an above average hitter.
Yeah, I mean, when you're thinking about roster construction, if you start to think, well, we weren't getting much power from who he's replacing in the first place. And if he's spelling Mason Wynn for a day, we're not losing much power there also, at least not right now. The team is doing well at hitting the ball hard. What we really need is just guys to get on base in front of that top four. You could see a world where obviously the overall offensive package is not something that is going to stand out like in a vacuum, but as a part of this team with where the team is strong, like just getting a guy who could bat eighth and get on base consistently would actually really, really help later in the game when the lineup is turning over.
Yeah. I wonder, are you going to see more Nathan Church in center field and then potentially put Fermin or somebody else out in the outfield, and then you open up pinch hitting spots and maybe even some starting spots for Prieto? I don't know exactly how they're going to use this. I do feel like, and this is purely anecdotal, I have no data to back me up on this, but I do feel like so far in the early season that Ollie has really just run his horses out there. And we're not seeing a lot of Pozo. We weren't seeing a lot of Sajasi. I don't think we've seen, I guess we've seen a little more Fermin, and we'll see how he uses Prieto. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Wouldn't mind Victor getting a couple of, I don't know what to do with Victor right now, but maybe a couple of days off a week might be the move, or a defensive replacement might be the move.
Well, it's where we thought there would be more shuffling was basically around like, all right, well, Wetherholt's brand new. He's gonna, we want to give him days off. We want to we'll see. Maybe he'll play some third. Maybe. And it's like, oh, actually, oops. Turns out he might be already the best second baseman in the game, and he also is hitting for power. And we just want him to play every single day, also because he's 23 and has the energy to play every day. Never mind. Okay, fine. It's like, all right, well, right field, maybe we'll slot, maybe we'll put Burley out there again every once in a while and slot some guy. Oh, never mind. Jordan Walker is the 9th best hitter in baseball. So let's lock in that slot. Then you have Mason Wynn, and then you have Nolan Gorman, who you could argue we could swap out more. But all we had was Urias, who did play a little bit, but now he's down. So anyway, I say like a lot of those spots that we thought were going to be more heavy rotation was because we didn't think Jordan Walker and JJ Wetherholt were going to be two of the better players in baseball basically from day one.
Yeah.
And when they are so young, those guys want to play every day too. And you really don't have a reason to give, other than maintenance, don't really have a reason to give JJ or Jordan Walker a day off right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely like keep them fresh. Don't run them into the ground. But yeah, I mostly agree with that. And it makes sense.
Like Jordan Walker, he's so big and so strong. Is like, does he ever get tired? Does someone with that many muscles ever get tired?
To live a day in the life of Jordan Walker's body is something I guess I'll never know.
You could find yourself, of course, in some sort of Freaky Friday situation.
Oh, if I could Freaky Friday. Yeah, it'd be like him or Judge would be, or Ohtani. It would be one of the.
I mean, you want to be in one of these big freaks, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do anyone else? Maybe like a Kyle Raleigh, just be like, I want to be the big dumper for a day.
I don't know. Being Jose Altuve would be. I mean, I am like a foot taller than him. It might be a fun departure, but then I'd be Jose Altuve, and I'd be afraid of showing off my non-existent tattoos during a home run celebration.
Wow, deep cut. Yep. Now finally someone took Jose Altuve to task.
Yeah, somebody might remember when that happened in 2017.
Well, they're all really paying the consequences of those actions.
Oh,
I don't think we shouldn't be too mean to the 2017 Houston Astros because they really dealt with it.
Justice served. That's all I can say.
Yep.
All right. We mentioned it, but real quick, Ramón Urías is down on the IL with a right elbow lateral epingot. I don't know how to say it. Can you take a whack at that, Nate?
Epicondylitis.
Epicondylitis.
Epicondylitis. Epicondylitis.
Squeaky elbow, I think, is what's going on there. You got to get the juice back into the elbow, and he's down.
Yeah.
Getting his elbow rejuiced or maybe juiced. Maybe they're taking the juice out of it. I don't know.
You know what I was thinking the other day is we talk about loose bodies a lot on this show. People are always getting these loose bodies taken out.
Yeah.
What a good horror movie name. Loose Bodies.
Say more about that.
I just think it would be a good name for a horror movie.
Just the name. Okay. You didn't have a pitch. Okay.
I don't have a pitch yet, but doesn't that sound scary? Loose
but
bodies?
if you're going to bring it to the table, I think it's got to be a little more fleshed out than that, or kind of wasting everybody's time.
I appreciate the high bar you've set for me. But I feel like I've made it quite clear on numerous occasions that I'm not seeking that bar. Okay. I think
Lars Nootbaar is expected to start his rehab on May 10th. Probably 2 to 3 weeks of rehabbing, depending on his performance. But we finally have Lars Nootbaar news, and it is in the direction of playing baseball.
It's very interesting. There is a, exactly how this gets sorted is an open question, but there's a wide open need for a competent hitting outfielder.
I feel it's pretty right on where he's going to play when he gets back, right? You throw him in left field. You feel pretty good about that. Yeah. I'm more curious of where do you bat him in the lineup?
So you're pretty locked in on Newton left. I am as well. Are you doing Church in center on a daily basis or Scott?
Unfortunately, I don't see any reason to play Victor Scott over Nathan Church. I think there's a slight uptick
Nip tuck.
in defense,
There's a slight nip tuck in defense.
but great show, by the way. But
You
clearly
used to watch that when we lived together.
Yeah.
You watched Nip Tuck all the time.
Oh, I remember the day I stopped watching that show, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's a really cheesy like melodrama on like TBS back in the day. But they were trying to solve this mystery of it was some like sexually violent predator or something like that. And then they realized at the season finale that the killer had no penis. And then it cut to black.
Oh.
And I never watched that show again. I was in a dark place. Is the only thing that can really explain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Nice to see yourself represented on TV. All right. So
that was good.
Thanks. You bat him right now. I'd say if he probably, you bat him. Hopefully you're batting him fifth,
Well,
or,
yeah. Do you do that, or do you just bump everybody down one and go Newt, JJ, Yvonne, Burley, Walker?
Yeah, maybe eventually. I wouldn't want to mess with the top right now until we know that he's doing what we all know he can do. If you have a 400 OBP Nootbaar like we all think he can do and he has done at times, sure, great. I don't think anyone's going to complain. And in fact, JJ in the 2-hole is a improvement for him too, So I don't think anyone would complain about that. But I think I'd be surprised if they do that day one. Yeah. I think you put him down. Really, they probably put him sixth. They leave Gorman at fifth. They have Nootbaar at sixth, and then let him get reacclimated healthy. Because, we all know the story on him at this point. The underlying metrics are killer. He looks like he's a StatCast darling. He looks like he's going to have a 400 OBP with 20-plus bombs, the whole thing. But he just almost never does it. And either injury or inconsistency.
He has unspurred heels, Nate. His deformity is gone. I think we're going to see a whole new Lars.
Hagelin's deformity. He is no longer deformed.
Charlie Hunman's deformity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Looking forward to
Charlie
that.
Wilson's War.
Do you want to do a couple of quick hits on the farm? Then we can get this show moving along. Down in AAA since April 10th, Joshua Baez has a 924 OPS with 7 homers and 6 steals. He also has a K rate of about 40%, but we'll keep tracking that. He's having a lot of success, even though he's striking out that much. Can't do that in the big leagues, but he's doing it.
Ks are too high. It's wild to have a 924 OPS and a 40% strikeout rate. But at least with that high a strikeout rate, that's a big red flag. But at least everything else looks great. You know.
Jimmy Crooks has 6 homers over the last 2 weeks at an OPS of 1025. I get why he hasn't come up yet. It's fine. The guy's walking a lot. He's striking out a lot. He's doinking a lot. He's playing good defense. I'll just keep saying it. I'm ready for the Jimmy Crooks show to start. Yeah. Not that Pedro had some hits over the past week or so, but I'm ready. I'm ready for Crooks. I'm ready to start stealing, baby.
Yeah. And if we're keeping our eyes on the farm for a moment, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Reinel Rodriguez is about to be a consensus top 10 prospect. Yeah. The dude continues to obliterate. So I think.
Well, yeah, not to sell out some off mic chatter, but you and I were talking about this over the weekend that you think he's probably on the train to move off of catcher and get that bat into the bigs as soon as possible. Not this year, of course, but sooner than later.
Yeah. I think people think he could stick at catcher. And so this isn't anything to do with him as a defensive player. It's more to do with how teams typically handle guys with his bat and high upside. And then you add in that the Cardinals have already some very highly touted prospects at catcher. So there's no real need for him to be a catcher at the major league level, assuming at least one of Crooks or Bernal are big league capable starters. Everything comes together to me to say he's going to be in the big leagues, not as a catcher sooner rather than later.
I think it's right on. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's way too early. He's in high A right now. And by the way, he's carrying a 157 WRC plus in high A over obviously.
And he's young. Games.
19.
Yeah. So it should be a while, but everything about him tells me he's going to continue to fly through the minors. And I don't know where he ends up playing. He's not a huge guy. You could see him fitting. If he actually is a pretty good catcher, which most people say is, then you would think he's got pretty good hands. Maybe he could end up at a corner infield spot. But I think it seems like that's all going to be secondary, and it's going to be where can he hit.
Born in 2007, Nate. That hurts.
Yeah, it's tough when the guys that were born after you graduated high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, that's all I got.
All right. We're going to cover the upcoming series, do a little bit of league news, and, of course, finish with a little game. But before we do that, we want to remind everybody that this show is listener-supported on Patreon.com. Patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds is where you can find access to all of the various different tiers and perks and benefits that we offer when you subscribe. Subscribers at any of the paid levels get access to our private Discord server. That is the Birdscord. I mean, it's been popping lately. Like, we talk about the Cardinals being fun. The Birdscord for me has been a big part of the fun of this year because it's a bunch of other people that are Cardinal fans that want to talk about the Cardinals and want to do it in a space that isn't some shitty broader social media. So it's a really cool place to, we're all in there. We're live chatting throughout the games. People are posting updates, articles, things like that. It's become a legitimately fun place to be. So I highly, highly recommend you check that out. And I'm really thankful to everyone that has subscribed. If you want to support us elsewhere, you can, of course, leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform, or tell your friends, tell your family. If you're a Cardinal fan right now, probably people are talking to you about the Cardinals. And what a great segue to recommend us as a way to stay connected with the team in a way that maybe they haven't before. Hambone, where else can people find us online?
Yeah, if you don't want to be in the Birdscord for, whatever reason, you can hang out with us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok. We got a TikTok, Nate. Come look at our faces on TikTok. You can watch this show on YouTube. Be a great episode to watch. I'm feeling under the weather today. You'll see me blowing my nose and sneezing. If you want to get that kind of content, you can go over to youtube.com/talkingaboutbirds and find us over there. You can find all of that information, including t-shirts and more, at talkingaboutbirds.com. And of course, you can email us questions, thoughts, anything to talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. Of course, you can call us and leave a voicemail or send us a text message to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
848-48-BIRDS. And of course, Hambone, I can't get out of this segment without thanking and welcoming our newest patron, Parker. Parker, thank you so much for signing up. We truly appreciate it.
What up, Parker?
All right, Ham busy. We got the Cardinals have 4 games.
Ooh la la.
The Dads, your San Diego Padres. Yeah. What are you expecting to see in this series?
Baseball in a nice climate with cooler
this is my
evenings.
guy right here. This is reporting.
That's why they pay me the big dollars. But it's a pretty good team. They are 21-14 as we're sitting here right now. It looks like the Cardinals for game 1, Thursday night game, it's going to be Michael King against Matthew Liberatore. Game 2 is going to be the new Padre Griffin Canning against Michael McGreevy. Saturday night, we got Randy Vasquez versus Dustin May. And Sunday, Walker Buehler versus Kyle Leahy. The Cardinals, I think, seem like they're going to be okay in all of those matchups. Nobody other than Michael King in that group really scares me. This team is pretty solid from the position player group. Their bullpen has some really nice pieces in it. But, they're kind of playing over their shoes right now, too. The run differential doesn't really like them right now. The teams that they've been beating up on have been lighter teams. And there's like some weird things like Fernando Tatis Jr. is just not doinking dongs this year for some reason.
I was just pulling that out. He does not have a home run yet.
Not a single. I didn't know it was like that.
Not a single home run yet.
Wow.
Jackson Merrill has had a slow start to the season. Manny Machado has had a slow start to the season, though he has been heating up a little bit. Gavin Sheets has been one of their better hitters. Xander Bogaerts is suddenly having a pretty good year again. So other guys are chipping in and keeping this team competitive, but the guys that normally run this offense, Tatis, Machado, and Merrill's newer, but he's been in here for a couple of years now, just aren't doing it right now.
Yeah. Let's hope that continues for the next 4 games, because Machado's been a little bit cold recently too. You could totally see a scenario where Merrill, Machado, and Tatis, put up 6 homers against in 4 games against the Cardinals, because they are all very, very good players.
Yeah. And Miguel Andujar, who a lot of people wanted, ourselves included, saw him as a obvious Cardinal signing this offseason. He's doing very well against lefties, like he does. And so we'll see how he does against Liberatore, but seemingly a beatable team considering everything we've said, but they have a better record than the Cardinals and are a star-studded team who expects to play for the World Series every year. So no matter what, this is going to be a tough series. This is traditionally a hitter or a pitcher's park. So we'll see how the Cardinals offense manages there, but I'm hoping for a bit of a doubles machine weekend from guys like JJ and Jordan and crew.
If memory serves, this is the first time the St. Louis Cardinals are seeing Mason Miller in a Padres uniform, which is not good news for the Cardinals themselves, but for baseball fans, if you haven't got a chance to watch him throw the baseball yet, I'm sure we'll see it at least once or twice this series. He is something to behold, my friend.
He's very, very good. But would you
ever vote for a reliever for Cy Young if you had a vote?
I could see it happening, but I think it'd have to be a pretty absurd season mixed with no other starter really running away with it, which is just not how baseball goes anymore. Like there's at least one guy who throws 200 innings with like a 2 ERA and 200 strikeout. There's somebody every year, but like I'm not inherently opposed to it. Like I don't say no right out of the gates. And it basically had to be kind of, if Mason Miller did this all year and, like Ohtani stops pitching or something.
He is in the lead to win the Cy Young right now, which is crazy. Cardinals 4 games against the Dads at the Dads. I believe I saw this on the broadcast tonight that each game is with a different service. So good luck watching the games, y'all.
Wow. We love that, don't we, folks? That's like my favorite thing, how deeply obnoxious it is to watch Cardinal games.
Yeah. So then the Cardinals have a day off, their first one off in 17 days. How amazing.
Well,
their first true day off in 17 days where they don't have to be at the ballpark. Then they go to Ath. They're going to go to Ath, Nate, to play the Aths.
We love our Aths, our SAC Aths.
You're not supposed to say Sacramento. I was just reading about this.
They don't want you to. Everything just says.
It's Ath.
Ath.
So the Ath A's, or just Ath maybe, the Cardinals are going to that joke of a ballpark for 3 games, which should be, I guess, interesting at the very least.
It's the opposite of it. It is the best hitter's park in the league, even maybe more so than Coors. And the A's have a very good offense there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think this might be a bit of a slugfest.
Yeah, and that's kind of the A's whole identity right now.
Yeah.
It looks like on the Tuesday game, Monday off, Tuesday game, Jeffrey Springs against Palante. We have JT Ginn. I'll admit I've never heard that name before, against Matthew Liberatore. And then Jacob Lopez, pretty impressive righty, against Michael McGreevy in the Thursday night game. I think I agree with you. Like, this is probably a tough matchup just because they have guys like Nick Kurtz and Tyler Soderstrom. Brent Rooker is back from the IL, and I'm sure
Soderstrom's been heating up a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, all of these guys. Carlos Cortez was the talk of the first month of baseball. Looks like he's cooled off a little bit, but they got guys that are a lot of home run power, kind of up and down that lineup, and it's not going to be easy for them. Shane Langoliers is out on the paternity list right now, but he should be back in time for the Cardinals series. Yeah, I think this team is weird. I think they're pretty good. There are just so many players, like Jacob Wilson, I find to be a really weird player. Like, he's got a good glove and a weird bat. I don't know what to think of him. Jeff McNeil, is Jeff McNeil still good? I don't know what to think of him either.
He's having a good start with them,
Yeah.
and he won a batting title a couple of years ago. So, you could see it working in this offense. But yeah, I like the Athletics. They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah. Lawrence Butler got all that money, and is he good?
He actually, so his underlying metrics seem to indicate that he's doing pretty well. He's making improvements where you want a guy like that to make improvements, but the surface stats are just not there right now.
It's not there right now. Yeah. But yeah, I think as a Cardinals fan, I feel pretty good going into both of these series, especially with the way the Birds have been playing.
Yeah, I think so too. Which is such an interesting feel just from not that long ago, like going into I think the Dodgers series really gave me a little more confidence in this sort of thing. It's like, all right, they're a pretty good team, but I think they could hold their own against these guys. But this will be tough. West Coast games, they're late. I think that matters.
Worth saying, at least.
I'm trailing off. Let's move on to the next thing.
All right.
What have you got for us for league news?
We got some injury news, Nate. We can run through these pretty quickly. Carlos Correa to undergo season-ending ankle surgery. Finally, that ankle that apparently is full of holes has caught up with Carlos after a few years, really. But
yeah,
season ender for him. We'll see. I feel like the recovery on this it's going to be long and painful and slow. And Houston kind of, the aging core.
Yeah.
Just has a huge aging spike all of a sudden right there.
They rolled the dice on bringing him back. Everyone knew. I mean, teams had denied, he was going to sign with the Mets, but then they had to back the whole thing out because of the medicals. And
you would think if anyone knew, the Astros would know.
Well, I think everyone did know. And I think they just thought, well, let's roll the dice. They've been so successful for almost 10 years straight. Like, let's just keep it rolling, and now here we are.
Yeah. Tarek Skubal is also going to go down for, it looks like 2 to 3 months to undergo surgery to remove loose bodies from his elbow. Which, what are those? What's in there?
Yeah, well, why? I mean, it's part of the horror,
right?
What are all these? I'm imagining tiny little bodies floating around in there.
Yeah. Well, that sounds kind of cute.
But they're all bloody and stuff.
Really opens up the Cy Young conversation. This is interesting. And did you see that Framber Valdez, their de facto ace, hit Trevor Story in the middle of the back and got suspended for 6 games?
Yeah, the Tigers, who a lot of us like, it's a rough couple, a little bit of time for them. Losing Skubal is understatement of the obviously losing the best pitcher in baseball is a big deal.
As load bearing as a player there is in baseball, I would say.
Yeah, like your house.
We're back to it. We get it.
Yeah.
This show's good. We know what we're doing.
Yes. Yes and yes.
All right. Tarek Skubal, I already said that. Red Sox placed Garrett Crochet on the IL with shoulder inflammation. Another Cy Young candidate.
Yeah.
Taking a trip to the IL. We don't know how long that is going to be just yet, but arguably the 2 best pitchers in baseball, at the very least, the American League.
Those 2 and Skeens, I think, they're the 3.
Yeah.
And Skeens is fine health wise, but he has had a stumble out of the gates.
Skeens will never get hurt.
Yeah. I promise I will never die. Yeah, like you said, I think the Crochet thing is expected to be a lot less time. I've seen some saying minimum or around there, but you never know.
The Red Sox trade away so many pitchers to the St. Louis Cardinals. Right now, they have Cutter Crawford, Garrett Crochet, Tanner Houck, Johan Oviedo, and Patrick Sandoval, all starting pitchers, all on the IL right now.
Yeah. You can never have too much pitching.
No way. Yeah. All right, Nate, that's all I got for league news.
All right, Hambone. Well, you said it yourself earlier in the episode. We are at about 25% of the way through the season. So now it's time for us to do a little check-in in our yearly game that we call Draft Day, Heroes and Hatchlings Edition. Now, assuming I
did you put the song? Yeah,
assuming I put the song in there. The voice you just heard was who's singing the Draft Day song is Chris, friend of the show, the one who spent the weekend in the boat with us.
People like the song, Nate. I heard I saw some negative feedback towards you in the Birdscord recently about the lack of song.
Well, that's not the songs. Those are the dumb little things that I have made.
I'm just saying you're getting feedback and you're not actioning that feedback. What are we supposed to do?
Maybe I won't put the song in now on purpose. There.
That's a really good.
Uh-huh.
You kind of pulled the curtain back on what Nate's actually like right there. That's the realest Nate's ever been on this podcast. Remember that, listener.
Mm-hmm. So if you've joined the show in the last month or so, you may have missed the initial draft. So
first off, welcome.
Yes, welcome. A quick recap before the season started, but like right before the season, Hambone and I did a draft. We are drafting 6 total players. We were going back and forth. 3 players from the opening day 26-man roster, and then 3 players from anywhere else in the organization. We track them all season, and whoever ends the season with the most fWAR wins. Ben, I will read through your players.
Please do.
I will read through mine. We'll have a brief discussion on how we feel it's going, and then I'll run through some numbers.
Okay.
Ben, you who had the first overall pick, you took, I think, who was the consensus first overall pick, Mason Wynn.
Let's go.
Then you took Ivan Herrera.
Yep.
And Alec Burleson for
your
heroes side of the draft.
Yeah.
Your hatchlings were Dick Fitz.
Whoops.
Thomas Sajasi.
I feel like I didn't get the full scouting report on that before taking him.
Thomas Sajasi and Tink Hintz.
Yeah.
My 6 were JJ Wetherholt, Matthew Liberatore, Victor Scott, Josh Baez, Jimmy Crooks, and Quinn Matthews.
Is this like the 8th year in a row that nobody's picked a WAR leader?
I will tell you, we did not pick the WAR leader, although they might be tied right now. Actually, I'll pull it up real quick. But
I believe Walker is above Wetherholt.
How are you feeling about your pick so far?
I mean, obviously, Ivan had a slightly slow start to the season, but he is fully he is hanging them and banging them right now. So I feel great about that. Burley just won NL Player of the Year or week. Can't be mad about that. And the reason I took Mason Wynn overall is because even when the bat ain't cooking, the defense is spectacular and it's going to keep that fWAR up. So I feel pretty good all around. I feel like I got a really nice high floor, Nathan.
Yeah. So I looked up real quick. JJ and Walker are tied right now.
They're tied. That's funny.
So I will say, obviously, taking JJ second overall was a bit of a gamble, but not really. Everybody projected him to likely be second or maybe even lead the Cardinals in fWAR because of that defensive floor as well and overall plate approach. It was very satisfying that he is, 25% into the season, co-leading the team in fWAR. So I'm quite happy with that pick.
Well, yeah. What's he on pace for? Like 5+ WAR, something like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, no, it'd be 6.
Yeah.
He's 25%
of
the way.
Duh. Yeah.
1.5 times 4 would be a 6 WAR season in his rookie year.
Oh, wild would that be?
Yeah. Pretty good, Hambone.
Pretty good.
My success in this draft plummets after JJ Wetherholt.
Sure.
Matthew Liberatore and Victor Scott have not been what I had hoped. I do think right now I have the higher upside in the hatchlings with Josh Baez, Jimmy Crooks, and Quinn Matthews.
Yeah, I agree.
But obviously they have not contributed at all yet. So I will now go down the numbers. Hambone Mason Wynn is 0.8 fWAR.
All right.
Ivan Herrera is 0.9. He is your leader.
Okay.
Alec Burleson is 0.7. So all three of your top picks are contributing and accruing at a pretty good pace. All of them, that puts each of them at a pace of right around 3 or more.
Yeah.
So
got to be happy with that.
About 2.9 up to, what would that be, 4.5? Or 3.5. So pretty good. I think we would all be very happy if those three ended up in between 3 and 4 WAR.
Right.
JJ is my, I'll tell you the results at the end. JJ is my leader at 1.5. Matthew Libertor is -0.3. Victor Scott is -0.3. None of my other guys have contributed. I did fail to mention that Thomas Ajacey is -0.2. So he is dragging you down a little bit. So your total, 2.2 fWAR.
Right.
My total, 0.9.
Oh.
Yeah. Libertor and my 2 of my 3 being negative really hurts, even though I currently have the WAR leader. And none of us took Jordan Walker, as I think probably if we ran this 1,000 times, I don't know that we get to taking Jordan
It's such
Walker.
a bad spring. It's all we could go off of.
It really, I mean, it's incredible, really. The fact that I took Victor Scott
over.
Yeah, because I had the last pick,
Double J is not providing you with a W right now, Nate.
We'll see, though. I still have faith in Libertor. I am worried about my Victor Scott pick, but I think my secret weapon will be in the Jimmy Crooks and Josh Baez come up.
You really, it's an easy story to tell that Jimmy Crooks comes up, looks great behind the dish, and starts hitting a couple home runs and throws up a couple of WAR pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Baez is just such a coin flip right now. You can't strike out 40% of the time, but if you're going to do that, you're going to hit 7 homers and 6 steals in a couple of weeks.
Nobody carries a 40% strikeout rate at the minute.
Yeah.
What is the maybe 35?
Yeah,
is the
those
most
Javi Baez years. Yeah.
And he's doing that at AAA.
Right.
That's the problem.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Hopefully something will change.
We check in on this game every 25% of the season or so. So we'll check back in at around the halfway point. It's kind of crazy that we were 25% of the way done with the season.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, all right, Hambone, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you again to the patrons and everybody who listens to the show and supports us. Consider joining the Patreon and checking out all of the different links and everything to how you can follow and support the show at talkingaboutbirds.com. Leave us a call, ask a question, submit an opening bit, whatever you want to do. Call and ask for advice. Give us fishing tips. We're open to anything. 848-48-BIRDS. How do you like your hot dog? How do you build a house? All of these are real questions that need to be answered.
Do you need a door for it to be a house?
Do you need a door for it to be a house? I don't think so, but maybe you think differently. 848-48-BIRDS. And I guess that's going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, go Cardinals.
Birds.